Today on the USA News, Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu is reportedly in a 3-day coma. Get all the breaking details next. Hey folks, I'm here. Welcome to the USA News. We've got some very disturbing breaking news to start off with today. According to multiple Israeli media reports, Prime Minister Netanyahu, the 73-year-old Israeli leader, is in a 3-day coma. That's right. He apparently suffered some sort of cardiac event over the weekend and is not expected to emerge from this coma until Tuesday. Now this, obviously, if true, is a very troubling report. The Prime Minister of Israel, essentially in a coma for 3 days, is not good. Let's dig into this, and we will also discuss the thousands of Israelis fleeing Tel Aviv. Before I get into it, it's just a quick reminder to subscribe to the channel and click the notification bell so you get alerts every time a new video is posted. And what a video. What a crazy 24 hours in the world's most strategic and chaotic region, the Middle East. As we come to you between the Gaza-Israel war and, of course, the continued fighting between Israel and the Iranian regime in Syria, things are heating up in a major way, and we have daily updates for you here on the channel. Again, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of our updates. Okay, let's get into this report about Prime Minister Netanyahu. Now, before I read you some of these Israeli media reports, I should mention that there are conflicting reports. There are some Israeli media outlets saying the Prime Minister is indeed in a coma. Other outlets saying he had some sort of medical episode or incident, but not necessarily in a coma. So again, we're waiting for more information on this to emerge, but here's what Channel 11 in Israel reported yesterday. This is their website, you can see it right here. Benjamin Netanyahu has been unconscious for 2 days and is expected to remain so for another day. Close associates of the Prime Minister told Channel 11 that Netanyahu suffered a significant health complication and is expected to be unconscious for a few days. Now, they did update this article. If you go to the comments section, you will see that they updated it around midnight last night, saying that there were conflicting reports about whether or not he was in a coma. But either way, his condition is serious. They wrote, quote, "After publishing the article, additional information was published according to which there is no coma. Nevertheless, Netanyahu's condition remains serious." So now this report by Channel 11 in Israel is picking up steam. But at the end of the day, again, it seems like this first came out of an unnamed source close to Netanyahu, who spoke to this Israeli TV channel. So we are waiting for more information to develop. Obviously, if the Prime Minister of Israel is incapacitated for 3 days, even if he is not in a coma, that is obviously a major issue. Again, he is 73 years old. He's been Prime Minister for 15 years. He's had some health issues in the past, including, of course, a serious bout with COVID early on in the pandemic, so we're keeping a very close eye on this. Hopefully, we will have more information when we do our live stream later today. Join us for that between 4 and 5 p.m. Eastern Time. In the meantime, we want to break down some other very important news coming out of Israel. It has to do with thousands of Israelis, an exodus from Tel Aviv, many people leaving the city. Why? Well, because they are afraid that Hamas may soon launch an attack against Tel Aviv. Now, remember, Hamas controls Gaza. They fired thousands of rockets into Tel Aviv and the surrounding area during that October 7th surprise attack. Thankfully, those rockets were not as deadly as Hamas anticipated, but still, dozens of Israelis were killed, many more wounded. And now the fear is that Hamas, in a second phase of their quote-unquote October war against Israel, that they will target Tel Aviv and other Israeli cities, perhaps even Jerusalem. And it appears that that fear is now a reality as thousands of Israelis are packing up and getting out of Dodge, so to speak. Let me show you some more reporting here from Israel. This is on the Jerusalem Post website. It says, quote, "Tens of thousands of Israelis are sleeping in their cars," or with friends and relatives in other cities throughout the country after they fled their homes in central Israel for fear of another Hamas attack. The article goes on to say that, quote, "Many Israelis are abandoning their homes and rushing to safer areas in the center of the country after a week of attacks by Palestinian Islamic Jihad, Hamas and other Iran-backed terror groups based in Gaza and southern Lebanon. Hundreds of families have been sleeping in their cars since Friday night after they fled their homes. Many others have been forced to seek refuge with friends or relatives in more secure regions of the country. And folks, this is a major deal, in my view. Again, if Hamas decides to launch a second wave of attacks against Tel Aviv, which they certainly have the capability of doing, they certainly have the intent of doing, that could be really bad. And we know how deadly Hamas rockets are. These are not your typical rockets that you might see launched by, say, Hezbollah in Lebanon, or even the Houthis in Yemen. No, Hamas rockets, many of them are packed with shrapnel and explosives. They are designed to kill. We saw that on full display on October, and now thousands of Israelis are getting out of Tel Aviv, some sleeping in their cars, others trying to find refuge with family members outside of Tel Aviv. Remember, this is the second largest city in Israel. If Hamas were to target Tel Aviv, it would be devastating. The article goes on to say that, quote, thousands of central region residents are packing their bags and heading to safer areas, usually in the country's south. Hotels in the area are completely booked and many families are sleeping in their cars along the roadside. This is something that I think we need to keep a very close eye on. And it really underscores, in my view, the need for Israel to take out Hamas decisively. Hamas cannot be allowed to exist as a terror threat to the world's one and only Jewish state. Hamas must be rooted out, destroyed once and for all. And that means not only in Gaza, but in Judea and Samaria, the so-called West Bank, which is a hotbed for Hamas activity as well. And it means dismantling Hamas in Lebanon, where they have a strong presence. We've reported extensively here in the newscast about Hamas's growing power in southern Lebanon, thanks to its good friend Hezbollah. Folks, we're watching this very closely. I believe this is a major story that is getting overshadowed by the fighting in Gaza. But again, if Hamas strikes Tel Aviv and strikes hard, that could be devastating. I mean, we already saw how they unleashed a surprise attack against Israel 2 weeks ago. And again, it took Israel by surprise. They weren't ready for it. Clearly, the Israeli Defense Forces were caught napping on October 7th, and that led to at least 700 hostages being taken into Gaza. At last count, some 260 Israelis are still languishing in Hamas captivity, some 50 of them women. Several of them are said to be in critical condition, including some pregnant women. So clearly, Hamas cannot be allowed to hold Israeli citizens hostage on sovereign Israeli soil. It's a red line. It won't happen again. Israel is making moves to prevent that from happening again. But we'll keep a very close eye on this. And if we get more information about Prime Minister Netanyahu's health, we will bring that to you as well. What a time to be living in. When you think about it, folks, the largest single land-based war in a generation raging in the Middle East, and now reports that the Prime Minister of Israel is in a coma. Again, we're waiting for more information to develop, but we know that his condition is serious. One last thing to mention before we go. Tomorrow, Wednesday, November, we will have a live stream between 4 and 5 p.m. Eastern Time. I will be joined by a special guest, someone you know, a good friend of the channel, the Middle East expert, Walid Fairs. He will join us live tomorrow for a full hour as we break down the latest out of the Middle East. Be sure to join us for that. It's free. You can always ask questions. We look forward to seeing you there. Until then, keep Israel in your prayers. Keep the people of Israel in your prayers. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem. Pray for wisdom for the leaders of Israel as they make these very tough decisions regarding this war with Hamas. And pray also for the healing of Prime Minister Netanyahu. We're watching this very closely. Till tomorrow, thanks for joining us. God bless you, and remember, never hold your peace. Hey everyone, thanks for checking out the USA News. Make sure you hit the subscribe button so you never miss an upload. Tap the bell icon so you're notified every time a new video is posted. And don't forget to share your thoughts, insights, and comments below. Thanks for watching. We'll see you back here tomorrow.